It looks like we're live, Brian. It looks like we're
Yes, we're
live.
live. How's
We
everybody
are.
doing? Finally.
Guys, I'm meeting this person for the first time, but I feel like I was just telling
Yeah.
him, I feel like I knew him.
Like I was telling you, and I'm probably a lot of people will mirror it. We were there when Aaron messed up, and then we were there when you came on the scene and started this journey with you. I call myself an observer. To be a writer you have to be an observer, and stuff, and it's nice to to like know what know your story, what's going on with your life. And I know you're very open and honest, and that's really the best way to be. And that might not be some people's cup of tea, and it might be, viva la difference. That's just how life is.
It's a mixed bag, man. That's what I was
Oh
just
yeah.
telling you. It's so weird. I have my diehard people who are like,
Yeah.
I will never leave you. We love you.
Mhm.
And then I have people who are like, this person sucks. She's awful and no boundaries. So it's so weird how that
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, it's just people. That's the beauty of the human race, and and that's one of the things that makes it frustrating too. But
Well, frustrating, but also I feel like everybody should have a choice. I
yes,
mean, I just told
yeah,
you before we started, like some people are like, I love that show or I love that movie. Like Aaron. Aaron's
yeah,
like, I loved Avatar. I'm like, Avatar sucked.
yeah.
I mean, that's why I kind of feel like it's a good thing in a way. It's like,
Mhm.
if I'm not for you, please don't stick around. That's okay.
Yeah,
I'm definitely, since I knew my mother, she would always say to me, you're definitely not going to be for everybody, Reese.
yeah.
So it's like, it's okay. It's all right.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
and my thing's poetry, right? Poetry is
yeah,
just like music. It's very subjective. It's a very niche. I'm glad that got to you safely. It's a very
so sweet of
niche
you.
thing. It's a very niche thing, and it's extremely subjective. There's certain uh, checks you have the boxes you have to check in order to be a good poet, right? But
I
it's
would
it's
assume so. I'm not a
it's
good
it,
poet, but I'll take your word for it.
yeah, and stuff like that. It's just like with anything, with any type of art. Art's 90% here. It's what you like. Some
That's
people.
true.
I remember going to a. I remember going to a art show that a buddy of mine, he was getting his BFA, and it was at the local university, and there was this person who put. I don't even remember the person's name, who put on the wall something that looked like what I would leave behind when I was doing a construction project on the drop cloth on the floor.
There you go.
So
That's exactly perfect
yeah,
example.
it's just like, okay, or yeah, it moves some people, it doesn't. Who knows? Uh,
Totally.
but yeah, this thing here, if you can see it
There, now I see it.
there, this thing here has been a labor of love for me, and uh, just very few
It's
times
so
in
cool, you guys.
yeah, it Aaron is actually kind of the seed that started this project out. Okay. Back in late March, early April of this year, he was messing around with Chat GPT. Okay. And he was having it do stuff, asking it questions, and people in the chat were like, have it write some poetry, specifically haikus and limericks. Right. So
Okay.
I was like, man, I thought it was good, but it was just like, okay, I can do better, because it has no soul. I was like, screw
Like you
this.
said, it's all here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's at 10% that it's lacking, right?
Yes.
So I started writing it. It was like I worked on a couple limericks. They were kind of clunky, and then one night I was in bed, and all of a sudden my brain goes, Scientology is a 5-syllable word. Haikus are 5 syllables, 7 syllables, and 5 syllables, right?
I didn't know that, but that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. It's a Japanese form of poetry, and what I've written is kind of an Americanized version of it. There's certain rules or whatever, but with most rules, especially when it comes to art, you can just throw them out the window. So, but you take an idea and then you build upon it and you do a little conclusion, right? So like the one I wrote that night, I had to get up out of bed, come in here to my writing area and put it down. It was, and I call it my first Scientology haiku. It's really easy. It's Scientology, give up all your money and humanity too.
Oh, wow.
So it builds one idea upon another, and then it comes to a conclusion. I remember telling Denver Steve-O one time, it's like a 3-act play. It's like a little mini 3-act play. And it can be very effective too. It just depends on how you use it. So this kind of began as an organic process. I started, wrote a few. I would watch something and it would give me an idea like one of my favorites. It's a combination of watching something that Aaron and them did. It was Aaron and Mike and Mark and Claire were doing some stuff, and then Nora was also I kind of combined something that she said, and it's my 24th Scientology haiku. And this one, I've done a video on this one. It goes, Scientology, your 8C is a solo out to de-assist. So
that's kind of cool that you know all these words. I thought you were a Scientologist.
No. I'm an artist. I consider myself to be a pretty smart fellow when it comes to certain things, and when it comes to other things, I'm just dumb as hell. And it's like I pick up these little things here and there, and it just all stewed in, and this is what my brain popped out. It just went. There were times when it felt like something other than myself was going, okay, you got to do this. And I've had it happen with other poetry, with other stuff I've written too, and it's just all part of the art, all part of the process. And it's wonderful to see this. Holding this in my hand is just like, I had a lot of help with it. It could, me getting Claire to do the afterward for it. It was just like, okay, how do I do this? So I just asked a few questions, was patient, and finally it came about. So yeah, I had this thing actually done back in June. So it didn't take me that long to actually write the whole thing. And then it was a lot of, editing and this, that, and the other. And I decided to, pull a page out of Mark and Claire's playbook, and when they published his memoir, Blown for Good, they did it under their own little publishing company. So I had to start my own little publishing house, which is From a Poet Press, and all that stuff.
So cool.
So yeah, it's been a journey for me too. Like you're asking me, people have asked me when I've gone on other. With Liz, both Liz Gale and Liz Ferris, if I was a Scientologist. No, I grew up in the rural South, and everything out here is mainly Protestant Christianity. Okay. When I was young, my mom was heavy. Well, she was a Bible thumper. She was heavy into the Church of Christ, and that's one of the main denominations out here. It didn't jive with me. And so when I was like 7, 8 years old, my mom basically let me decide for myself what I wanted to do. I'm like, I like sleeping in on Sunday mornings. No way,
that's cool that she did that.
Yeah. And so, but it kind of, I absorbed a lot of that by basically osmosis, and I took away from that, the basic good stuff, like the golden rules in my book. If you live your life by that, the world's, if everybody lived their life by that, the world would be a hell of a lot better place. And that's what I try to do. I'm a naturally empathetic person. I went through the crap when I was a kid, like everybody does. You don't blame everything on your childhood. It has a lot, sometimes it has a little bit to do with it, but as you grow and all that stuff.
Yes,
and
totally.
so that's a little bit of my background as far as that goes. When I was originally in college, I became fascinated with, of course, literature, history, and sociology. That were the main things. Although I still haven't finished my bachelor's. That's a goal here. That's in the future to eventually get that done. I kind of look at this stuff, these authoritarian groups and religious movements and stuff from a more academic point of view.
Okay.
I'm personally a spiritual person. I did dabble in the LDS church when I went to boot camp when I was in the Navy. I joined the Navy at 30. My mom, while she was working on her bachelor's in history, found out that the first branch of the Mormon church to actually take root in Arkansas was right up the road from me. Right. There was families, a couple Mormon families that I'd known practically all my life that I didn't even know were part of the church. So she went native and stuff. So I was around that. And when I got to boot camp, I decided to, I was like, need some help getting through it because it was stressful. So I went to services and then the love bombing and all that other stuff. But it didn't take, thank God, because I had my own basic beliefs. And some of them didn't mesh with that. So, nowadays I consider myself middle of the road Buddhist type person,
That's really cool.
And stuff. So, so that's basically my background in a nutshell.
How long were you in the Navy?
12 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I wanted to do 20, but my love handles had something else to say about that. And the ironic thing is 4 months after I was discharged, the chief of naval operations changed the policy.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, things happen for a reason. I was in New Mexico and then moved to San Antonio, Texas. That was where my ex-wife was from. And then that didn't work out.
Yeah.
Hence she's my ex-wife. And then in 2017, one of my oldest best friends, who happens to be a Mormon, but that's irrelevant to this little story. He's homebound and disabled. I've known him since I was in my early 20s, and he had no family. My ex-wife, we were still married at the time. She was working 2 jobs. I would have my disability from my time in the Navy. We were living at her parents' house, and it was just like, okay, my friend needs help. He has no help here. I'm going to go help my friend. We can work out our problems when I get back.
Oh.
I stayed home.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
How is he now?
Oh, he's doing good. He'd come down with prostate cancer, but they caught it early enough. And this was in 2017 that by 2020, he was cancer free. He's got
good.
He has a whole host of other problems that he's also a disabled veteran. He was in the Navy. Wow. And when I decided to join, he asked me, it's like, what happened to me? Are you willing to do it? I was like, yeah, what else do I got to lose? Yeah. Aww. Yeah. I came out of it with sleep apnea and some muscle neck problems and a few other things that gave me my disability, so yeah. And right now, and I was his main caregiver up until last summer I hit rock bottom. I was just thinking about it. It was like I'd spent the previous 20 years going through a lot of stressful stuff, the military, a bad marriage, and then being one of my best friend's primary caregiver. I didn't, as far as taking him to appointments, I structured my life around him to a certain extent. And it was good that I could do that, but it just all came to a head along with a couple other things, and I had to just give up some things, scrape it down the rock bottom, and build up from there. And that's what I'm doing. And then that comes to like last October, this time frame when the Danny Masterson trial was going on. I was watching a lot of YouTube, and I ran into Andrew Gold, which that interview you did with him was freaking great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Nice.
he's a great interviewer. So he led me to Chris Shelton, which led
Okay.
me to Aaron, and then to Mark and Claire and Mike, and just the whole snowball effect from there. And I'd started writing again because I hadn't been writing much for a long time. Like in my 30s, I went through a writer's block where I didn't produce anything, and then my mid 40s, I'm 51, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, so about 6, 7 years ago, I started writing more, and then it's like gearing down and scraping the layers away and getting down to the bedrock and building up from there is just allowed the floodgates to open, and stuff. So it's exciting, and it's terrifying. And wonderful all at the same time, especially when I can see the results of my labor.
Yes, I was going to say, I bet it's very therapeutic for you too.
Yeah, as like earlier this year, I started actually submitting stuff for publication for the first time in decades.
That's amazing.
And I got some. There's this one place called Westward Quarterly. And this edition was the first poem I got published in like 30 years was here. And then subsequently they published a couple more, and I've got another one in an anthology, and then I've got this book, and I've got another book. I put out another book. Find it. It's somewhere around here. It's called Memories Carved in So Much Dust. It was just basically a trial run to work out the process on Amazon of getting something published, that in preparation for publishing the second thing. And during that time, I was waiting on yay or nay from Claire about the afterword. So it was just like, in order to circumvent my own impatience when it comes to stuff like that, I went ahead and did that, and then a couple weeks later got the thing from Claire, and then I started talking to Liz Gale. That's when I asked her to contribute to it, and she wrote the foreword for me, and Chris Shelton did a little blurb for me. Marcus Sawyer did a little blurb for me. It's, if you look on the back cover, So it's been. I've had help. I've had a lot of help behind the scenes. So, and now I'm getting out and trying to talk to people. Like, eventually, I'd like to personally thank Aaron for messing around with ChatGPT. I have an author copy for him. Mike just emailed me a few minutes ago, right before we did this. I looked at my email. He said he got this copy I sent him last week, and he thinks there's some funny stuff in it.
Nice.
So you want me to read something funny for you?
Yeah, if you would, yes, please.
Okay, let's do this one. Let's see here. Let's do some captains. I have a a series of limericks I call Captain COB. There's like version 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 of them are in here. I've got more I'm writing. So let's see here. Let me read the second one to you here. Let me pull it up here. Okay. This is Captain COB version 2. So here is our little boss baby, whose moniker is that of Davy. Many do attest he's a giant sadist, this captain of a dirtwater navy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really good. It's creative. I don't know much about poetry, As you guys have probably learned in the last couple of weeks, I don't know a lot about.
Oh, don't discount yourself.
Well, I just don't.
Yeah,
These like when you say limericks and stuff, I know people know what you're talking about. I kind of do. I've heard the word before, but like I
well, the easiest thing that when I hear limerick, what pops to mind is there once was a man from Nantucket. Andrew Dice Clay. He did a lot of limericks and all that stuff. So yeah, it's the form. It's an Irish form of poetry. I'm not very knowledgeable on the guy who made it or all that stuff, but it's named after the town that he came from, Limerick, Ireland. And
I didn't even know that. That's really cool. I didn't know it was an Irish.
Yeah, and it's basically
Origin.
It's 5-line verses with an A rhyme scheme with a certain number of syllables, and it gives it that.
Okay.
And that's what gives it the rhythm. So there are rules to it, and the thing about poetry is the rules. You can throw the rules out whenever you want to, but those. Yeah, Steve actually did some limericks on. We did this. It was the second chatathon that we had. It was when we were up all night we did the one for Mike, and I came on there. He actually came on there. He's pretty good too. You need to write more, dude.
Steve Britton.
Yeah, Steve.
Oh yes, Steve is super smart.
Yeah. So, excuse me. So yeah. But form can also pigeonhole you in a way. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It can kind of limit you on what you can say, but me personally, it gives me it's like it entertains my brain and gives me a different ways to think about how can I say this and how can I say that, like the limerick that I sent you and posted on the Facebook pages, just the facts, Dan.
Oh yeah.
When that came up, it was just like, okay, I want to say this, and this, and okay, I can do this and this and this, and it was clunky at first, and then I reworked it, and it's really simple. Is for old Dan, it's strictly the facts, not some sword or old battle axe, but big old Dan's a real little man, because with it, little girls, he attacks.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
So yeah, and all this was inspired in some way or the other by one of your stories. Watching this, it's not like it's not I don't know. People have their reasons for however they whatever reason that they got into following you guys. Mine was partially psychological, partially artistic, and all this stuff. So and me being able to actually put it to good use, to especially for my art form, and
yes,
and this thing is important to me because the most important thing, I want it to be successful, of course, because I think I've done something remarkable here putting this together.
Totally.
And in order to give back, I'm earmarking 50%. 50% of the net profits are going to the Aftermath Foundation.
Oh,
So far, I've sold 26. So it's a little bit at a time, and coming
that's
on your
really
channel.
Sweet, though. Cool.
We'll get the word out, and stuff, and I've got to send a few more of these out. I've got several more, like one's earmarked for Aaron. I got hopefully I can hopefully this will be on Leah Remini's bookshelf too, because if she thinks funny, if she thinks they're funny, that would be like, yes, I did.
Oh, she would think they're funny.
Yeah,
Leah would. So let me ask you, Brian, where can people get this book?
Okay, it's on Amazon because I'm a disabled veteran on a fixed income, so it's not like I don't have the resources right now to to do much more than what I can get that's available for me. And there's these things called ISBNs. Hi, kid. and
It's
and
been really needy lately. Go on.
and ISBNs, international something or other. They're the numbers that help you with keep your copyright, right? And you can get them for like a stack of 10 of them for like $100 and some odd dollars, but you can get them from Amazon for free.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why that's why I'm doing it through Amazon. And I've got the link if people want to. Here, copy the link here. People want to go check it out. So it's called All About Scientology. And if you okay, well, if you go to Amazon and you put in the search bar All About Scientology, it's the first thing that comes up.
Okay. And someone just said Freezy new project, and I was going to say this too. I just hadn't fit it in yet.
Yeah.
Said thank you for your service, and I definitely wanted to make sure and say that too, and to
You're
to your
welcome.
friend, friend as well. That's amazing.
And to Marhaja, the signed copies. I live out in the middle of nowhere. And my local post office is very good for sending them out into the 50 states, but they don't have the capabilities to do the international shipping. So the international shipping, just as far as that goes, you just get to me one-on-one, and I'll figure that part out. But anybody I've got several author copies that I might put out for sale or something like that. But so as far as autograph copies like that, TBD. Okay. That's something, the logistics of I still have to work out. The cover art, which I'm really, really proud of, it's the cover art I believe is amazing.
It is amazing. I was going to ask about it. How did that come about?
My partner in crime, Mrs. J.
This, you guys, it's really cool.
Mrs. J. She does. She's also a creator, and she's part of the SPTV community. She did the artwork, and she's also we're putting together an illustrated edition. That she's been working on. We haven't been able to. That's still TBD. That's coming out pretty soon. And like I told you, I've got this anthology that I'm putting together that I'm calling. It's called the SPTV Anthology: The Art, Photography, Essays, Stories, etc., Poetry, etc. of a Grassroots Phenomenon, which I'm currently accepting submissions for. I've got a handful. The submission deadline is, still open. It depends on how, because I want to make it big, at least 200 to 300 pages, which means I need contributions to it. And I'm slowly they're ticking in. I've got a couple of this in that. So far, a lot of pictures and stuff. So I'm excited about that.
That's cool.
Cynthia from Sinfully Good. That's one of the cooking channels. She sent me some recipes. They're going to be in there. It's just the only criteria is you got to be a watcher. Okay. That's it. And this is a very artistic community.
This is a very artistic community. Yeah. There are so many creative artists in this community. I'm blown away by it.
And that is also going to be a fundraiser for the Aftermath. I figure people would, for someone to be able to, like in my shoes, like I said, I'm on a fixed income, so I got to be careful with my budgets,
of course,
and all that stuff. I live out in the middle of nowhere in Arkansas, so it's not like I can donate my time,
right,
or stuff like that. So this is my way to help, to contribute.
Your contribution. Yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
What a big heart. That's really kind of you
Mm,
to do that.
thank you.
And what part of let me ask you because I don't really know Arkansas. What part are you in? Like
Central Arkansas, there's the state. Little Rock is that's basically smack dab in the center. I live a little north of
okay.
Little Rock in Faulkner County. It takes me about 45 minutes or so to drive down there and
Okay,
stuff.
okay.
But where I live is like centrally located out in the middle of nowhere. The nearest town's like a 30-minute drive for me.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I don't I'm trying to I mean, so we just went to Eureka Springs and that's all I know and it was
Yeah.
so
I love that.
pretty.
I love that place up there. I haven't been up there in a long time. Uh, that's definitely some. Hopefully soon I'll be able to do a road trip up there. Throw my dog in the car and
Yes.
and go have some. Because I know people who live up in the Fayetteville area, uh, and stuff like that. There's poetry readings up there that I want to try to go to. Like
Yes.
next week, me and a buddy of mine are going to go down to Hot Springs. That's southwest,
I want to
south.
go there too. I want to go to
Oh,
Hot
it's
Springs.
beautiful. I have not been there. Last time I was in Hot Springs was in the mid '90s. Me and a couple of friends of mine went and seen Allen Ginsberg. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Uh,
He was a beat poet, right? From the late '50s, and he's one of the guys that helped inspire the counterculture of the
okay.
'60s. And I got the opportunity to see him
That's
do
cool.
to see him do a reading, and talk about his life and everything. That was mid '90s, so I'm looking forward to doing that. And
Oh, that's cool. So it's been a while.
yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, he subsequently passed away since then and everything, but he's an
Oh.
interesting fella. Um,
Well, I
uh,
could see you in that area. Like I would. So I was telling Jeff, he has a motorcycle, and he said it's a beautiful ride to ride
oh
to
yeah,
Hot Springs.
yeah, it is.
I don't know. That's a long
It's
drive from here. I think it's like 7 or 8 hours. It's too
yeah.
long for me on a bike, but I really want to go. And I just
Mm-hmm.
want to say, I would have when we left Eureka Springs. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I would buy a house and move here. It was
Mm-hmm.
like going back in time,
Yeah,
Brian. Like it was
yeah.
like everybody was chill, and it's kind of the reason I'm talking about it is kind of ties into what we're saying. Like
Mm-hmm.
lots of artists, lots
Mm-hmm.
of like
Yeah,
just very trusting, big-hearted people that I just felt close to immediately. It was kind of crazy. You
yeah.
don't get that in a bigger city all the time.
Yeah, that area of Arkansas, it's kind of funny. It's really red as far as the politics and stuff like that. But
Oh, is
there's
it? I
yeah,
didn't know.
yeah, like the Duggars are from that area.
I don't know who they are.
The Shiny Happy People.
I just know that's an REM song.
There's this documentary on series on Amazon called Shiny Happy People. Maryland's big into that. It's that IBLP uh, and stuff. That's but they're from there. A lot of people know that. But politically, Arkansas, is just like the rest of the South. But we have like spots of blue, or that artistic culture and that area, because a lot of it's because the University of Arkansas is there, right? That's in
Okay.
Fayetteville's where the U of A is, so that attracts a lot of that stuff. So yeah, Eureka Springs is really, 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 really beautiful. It's a really nice place to visit.
It's
And
such a cool place.
yeah, and someone the youngest sister of someone I graduated with has a tattoo shop up there. So I want to go up there and get another tattoo. Maybe she'll give me the friends and family discount.
Oh, that would be cool.
Hmm.
I just have to say, it was a really cool place, but I
Hmm.
have to be honest, I was very drawn to the people there.
Yeah,
Like so many of them were like, I'm from here, I was born here, and they just were like so I
hmm.
can't really put my finger on it because I don't experience that where I live. It was like
Oh,
I felt like they would have let me into their home. They were just like very open, honest, good people. I
well,
loved it.
most people in the South are pretty nice. That's it's some people like ask me if it's in the water. I don't know, because most of the people I grew up with were we were taught to be polite. Yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. It's
Mhm.
just, again, the golden rule: treat people like you'd like to be treated. And I guess that's one of the good side effects of that is we're nice. and
Yeah.
and it doesn't cost you anything to be nice.
Doesn't cost you anything, but they were more than nice. They were colorful and creative and
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah, it was just like there was so much like artwork. There was a cool art gallery I went to, and I met a couple store owners. I went into all the stores, and I met a couple store owners who were like, we moved here or we came here to visit and we just decided to move here. I met a few people that were like, we just loved it enough that we didn't want to leave. And I was like, I feel drawn to it too. Now I don't know what kind of weather they have, like if the winters get really bad.
It's in the Ozarks, so it can get snowy and stuff. But I live right south of the Ozarks, so winters can be cold or not, depending on
Oh,
It's
okay.
usually winter's usually the rainy season around here.
Oh, so you
Yeah,
don't get like heavy snow?
the not these days, because of the changing weather patterns and stuff like
Yeah.
that. We'll get 5 or 6 inches sometimes, none sometimes. This past winter was one of the worst, most accumulations in a while. Compared to
Okay.
in the 80s when we'd had a couple feet.
Do
Um,
you guys have any fun animals that I might need to know about that I don't have here?
I had the guy who owns the we have, of course, the Razorback hogs, wild hogs.
You guys
Uh,
have wild hogs?
yeah, that's where the mascot for the University of Arkansas came from, Razorbacks.
Do you see them walking around? Can you?
Not here. The things
Oh,
the things that I have around here are coyotes, which I know you know all about coyotes.
I've got
There are
Wiley.
there are some panthers that roam around through here. I got some.
Okay.
Of course, you got the other regular critters: skunks, possums, raccoons, and all that stuff.
That sounds wonderful. Do you feed them like I
No,
do?
no,
Okay.
no,
I would
and
like to
but
feed a wild hog. That sounds fun.
but
Okay.
I have my neighbor has some horses that are next to me, and they let me pet them, so it's always
That's
nice.
fun. I love horses. Do you guys have
Yes.
bears?
No, that would be up in more in the Ozarks area.
I knew it. Jeff's a liar. When we were driving to Eureka Springs, he
Mm.
always does this to me when we're out of town. He's like, "Oh yeah, there's bears here." And I'm like, "No, there's not." And he's like, "There's wolves." I'm
Yeah.
like, Quit it. You're just upsetting me because we don't have those here and I want to bring them into my home." But you guys don't have them, right?
uh, as far as wolves, they're probably around here. The main things we have is coyotes. I'll hear them at night. I even used it in a poem I wrote about. Earlier this year. I wrote a trilogy of poems that they all work together. You can split them up or you can read them together. So basically, a triptych of poems about my hometown. And
Okay.
one of the last image in it is of the coyotes.
Okay. Okay.
Because I hear them at night
Oh, I do
here.
too. I love to
Love
listen
it
to them at night. They're so loud right by my bedroom window.
here. Yeah, I can pull you up the line right quick. Um, Juliana really like it's they're called Enola. That's my hometown's name, Enola, and
Okay.
it's a love, basically a love letter to my hometown. And I used images of daily life here, like here it is. The very last line is, the coyotes yip and howl their good night, and the moon passes on his way as I lay my bones down to dream while the universe spins on.
I love that.
You want to hear the whole thing?
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, I'm really proud of this. I worked hard on this one too. So I write more than just about Scientology, And this
Oh,
is what
yeah.
I want to get this one published. I've sent it to a couple places, but it's poetry's example. Poetry is.
Can you, since you're reading the whole thing, can you start over because that was really fascinating. I loved it.
Okay, well, this is the beginning. It's called Enola, and it starts out, in the morning. The bullfrogs croak their good mornings to one and all in the cool, clear twilight of the deep purple dawn. The turkey vultures hover over last night's roadkill, breaking fast as the sun peeks her head above the warm horizon. The red-headed woodpecker digs his beak into a rotting tree stump, whirring away at a quick morning meal. The traffic goes by back and forth, the cars driving their occupants to their desperate destinations wherever they may be. The echoes of my footfalls on the tar black pavement vibrates my bones as I walk to the store for bacon, egg, and cheese. In the afternoon, the sun passes her zenith, shining down her warmth upon the C-130s whose contrails streak the great big blue sky. The laughter of the elementary school children playing at recess, burning off built-up energy, travels on the lazy afternoon breeze. The neighborhood dogs bark back and forth to one another, a cryptically coded conversation only they are able to decipher. The distant roar of a mower coming to life rides in and all around upon the freshly cut grass-scented wind. The wail of the emergency siren being tested reminds me, like Pavlov's dog, the store's lunch special is chili dogs with cheese. In the evening, store's neon open sign falls silent as the sun goes to her rest, sinking her way warily down into dusk's deepening twilight. The storm front blows through, lightning flashing, rumbling thunder, flotsam flying, branches about to break, then calm, stillness, a pin drop sound. The crickets chirp, the all clear, bathed in ancient starlight revealed by the clouds passing, the opening measure of nighttime's rhythm resuming. The moon slowly creeps above the horizon, adding his pale light to the dark broken by the occasional lights of cars going on to wherever. The coyotes yipping howl their good night, and the moon passes on his way as I lay my bones down to dream while the universe spins on.
Oh my God, I love that. I agree with what someone just said. She said, I can picture every word. This is beautiful. That was amazing.
Yeah, it's a love letter to my hometown.
Oh my God, it's really like almost made me emotional. It's
Mhm.
very special. It's very special. When
Thank you.
did you write that?
Um, this past spring,
Good God. Does it take you a while to write something like that?
just
Like,
depends. It,
could
it,
it take like months to write something like that or?
I've been working on a series called Stone Brine Blues for 5 years, 4 years. I got
Oh my God.
the original idea for it back in 2019, and I've written several versions of it. It's song lyrics that Marcus Sawyer is helping me with. He's going to hopefully he'll be able to write the music to it. Uh, so yeah, it just depends. It just depends. That right there, the idea came for it actually from walking down to the store for breakfast, and there was the undershell of a poor turtle who had gotten ran over sometime, I don't know, and that image of the turkey vultures came to mind, and that was the germ, that was what germinated, and it just blew up from there.
Okay.
And then I decided on structure and all that stuff, and the different images and how many I would use and in what order. And like the very last part, I was like, maybe I can do it in 5 parts. No, I need to do it in 3. And then when I finished the third part, it was like I was sitting here. This was a Saturday. I had 4 of the 5 images that I wanted to use, and me and a buddy of mine had went somewhere. It was storming. We came back through the storm, and then when we got back home, it was calm, and it was just like, okay, I'm going to use that. Well, I didn't write it down, but I put it there and put it to made a note to remember it. And then the next day I was watching stuff on YouTube, and it was boring. I was distracted. The chat wasn't really into the chat, and my brain was like, "You need to finish writing this down."
Yeah.
That's just the process. That's how it works. Sometimes I have control of it. Sometimes I don't. And
Yes.
it was getting that. It's finding that happy medium. Is how to. It's just like with everything. You got to work at it.
Sure.
It's what I how to put it. The perspiration is lubrication for the inspiration. You know.
Totally, but I mean, not everybody can do what you do there. That is very talented. That was
You.
really amazing. I
Yeah.
love that. Whenever it's available, I wanna buy it.
Um, well, I did already done videos on all three of them on my channel. I'm working on some illustration for it myself. I'm kind of messing around. This is I kind of don't like the AIs messing around with writing, but with I'll mess around with it with the visuals, because I've done some illustrations with some AI image software for my own stuff. It's I plan on using that one as the base for my next collection, which I'm going to call Enola and Other Poems. I just got to finish putting it together.
Sure.
And with all my other with all the other projects I got in mind, I've got and there are several people who are Kim D. High is asked me to help her get her grandmother's poetry published, and then Choctaw Nation Princess. I'm working with her to get her mother's stuff done and
Okay.
stuff. And then there's the SBTV anthology, and me just trying to take advantage of my time, because I most people have more of a life than I do right now. I'm disabled. I'm a disabled vet living out in the middle of nowhere. So if I have a lot of time on my hands.
Yeah, but you're an artist and
That's
creator. So,
that
I mean,
that's
it's
that's what I'm using that time for.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's time
And
well spent.
well, and it basically, a lot of it comes natural to me. So it's not like it seems like work. And it's not like it's lucrative or anything like that. Especially uh, books of poetry usually don't become New York Times bestsellers.
Sure, but I
Mm-hmm.
still think it's like what
Yeah,
I'm doing. I'm not really
yeah,
making much money doing this,
yeah,
but I enjoy telling
yeah,
the stories, and I really enjoy the people and the connections and the
yeah. So
relationships I'm making. So it's to me that's worth
yeah.
way more than money.
Yes, exactly, and it's helped me out of that low spot that I found myself in last summer.
Yeah.
And it's trauma bonding. That's what a lot of it is. All of us that I believe all of us that are attracted to this have some type of issue. That's the best way to put it. That this helps them with, and
Totally.
and stuff, and. Yeah,
I
doing
totally agree.
what Clearwater Claire. By the way, hi everybody from the chat.
I
Uh,
know we haven't really addressed the chat. I
what?
feel bad, but
Okay, well we got about like 10 minutes.
I
You
was
want
still sure. I was just so into what you were saying. So sorry, guys. I hope that you don't feel ignored. Cindy Borel says, "What
yeah?
is his channel?"
It's called from a poet. Here, I will for some reason here
I
I'll
was
put
gonna
it.
say I don't know how to do what Aaron does. He flips up stuff on the screen. You
Yeah,
guys, I barely could get him on StreamYard to do this. I didn't know how to do it because Aaron invites me onto things. I don't know how to
yeah.
invite somebody else. So I don't
So
know how to
so
do all
here
that.
in the end here I'll send you the link in the private chat. So, because for some reason
Oh, can you tell us what it's called?
it's called From a Poet. It's like From a Poet 87 or something or other. I don't know I don't know it right off the top of my head. But if you type
Oh,
in
here. The
yeah,
one with
well,
cats.
yeah, 810, that if you type that in the search bar, you'll get you'll see me.
Okay,
You,
perfect. Because
you'll see me like this.
Perfect. Because somebody else mentioned this and I feel the
Yeah,
same way. I like listening to you read it too. You do a really good job at
yeah,
you're telling the story to the
yeah.
crowd.
And
Do you
that's
do that on your channel?
that was the whole point. That actually, that you bring that up. That was actually the whole point of my channel um,
Sorry, kid hair.
was to read it and talk about it, right? Because I have no kids, right? Um, Long story. And what do I have to leave behind? You know, I'm middle aged. I'm looking at entering the third act of my life. And doing this is kind of like a little bit of an being in, it's kind of like ensuring that something to me will
Oh,
live on.
yeah. You're leaving something
Yeah,
definitely behind that.
and the main point that I try to keep in mind overall is that I'm doing this to get it together in one location. That way, 100 years from now, if some scholar is researching early 20th, late 20th, early 20th century, 21st century poetry, my stuff might come out. And
Totally.
I talk about the inspiration for it, and what I was thinking, my point, the points I was trying to make, or whatever, what inspired it. And so the first part of the video is me just basically reading it, and then the longer part of the video, because the between the first minute to 2 minutes, that's usually how it takes, and then the rest of it is me talking about it.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
I love that personally. I
Mm-hmm.
find it very soothing and peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, I hope that we all go over and
Mm-hmm.
follow Brian because
Yeah.
this stuff is very meaningful.
Yeah, there's. I plan on doing more for the book. Eventually the whole book will have videos on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and stuff, and I might clip them together into some audio form, or audio format. I don't know. Um,
Someone keeps saying children's book. Would you write for kids' books?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Uh, the It just depends. Maybe one, I might do that. That's something that this person might just, my brain will hear that and go, maybe store that in for later, and it just depends.
Totally.
It's weird where the inspiration comes in strange places.
Yeah, I'm just leaving the door open,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm in my youth, I wanted to be a novelist, but I get bored with it,
mhm.
and stuff. But poetry is was what attracted me. Like I learned how to write haikus when I was in the third grade. They do that to help teach you syllables and the functions of all that stuff. And then I remember in sixth grade, my the lesson for the spelling words was write a poem, and I got every single one of them to rhyme except for the last word or the last line. And I went to my mom and I was like, "Mom, does poetry always have to rhyme?" And she was like, "No." And then that was just it. Finished it up. And then I really didn't start writing in earnest until I was like 16 years old, and then it just took off from there. I knew I was. Yeah, I guess I always knew I was a poet. It's just getting that confidence, and my
Totally.
confidence in my skills has grown, especially in the last year. You know,
That
over
is
the
so
last year,
cool.
and it kind of helped being called poet. Some people have confused me with Poe on the Go. I kind of blame Chad for that because he calls me Poe too. I guess he forgets to put the in, but that's one of the reasons I put Brian Lucas, in parentheses after it. But I don't mind being called poet because that's what I am.
Yeah, I
You
think that's
know,
so cool.
and that's what everybody knows me as, and that's why I, incorporate that into my life.
Here we go,
Reese,
Steve.
you want to read it or you want me to?
No, I want you to because you're good at this.
Reese feeds coyotes who roam while spending all her time snug at home with her house nice and clean and her friends Jeff and Ed. Spending lots of time on the phone. Oh my God. Send that to me. That's going in the collection. That's going in the
That
anthology,
these are
Steve. Send that to me.
beautiful. That's beautiful,
See, that's what
Steve.
I want. That's what I want. This stuff, and I believe, another one of my functions in this community is to help people forget the because this is a very deep, heavy, upsetting subject.
Oh yeah.
That we and I do I use medical marijuana medically. Plus, I'm a big pothead. It kind of all works out that. So one of the things that me and Miss J do is we're actually supposed to do one on Sunday is we'll get together and I'll go over a poet and we'll toke out. It's for people to. It's fun. I always have a good time. And we had Liz Gale on the last time we did it. Of course, she didn't do anything. That's not a criteria for, like, if you wanted to come on with us, you're more than happy to come, more than welcome to come on with us and just read some poetry and talk about it and have a good time. I think this one's going to be our Halloween special.
Oh, how cool.
So we're going to do a few Edgar Allan Poes and some other Halloween poetry. And
You
stuff
might
like
want to read this one. I just think that's gold right there. What Steve? Steve, I love that so much. I keep laughing about it.
Send it to me, Steve. That's definitely going into the anthology. If you want to.
Is that not the truth too? It's beautiful because it's true. And
yeah.
I never thought about the fact that my husband's name is Jeff, and then our best friend's name is Epstein. It's so weird. I never put it together like Jeff and Epstein.
Exactly. See. So we're getting close. The wordplay there is great. Like that reminds me. I'll do one more haiku for you before we wrap this up.
Sure.
It's I really like this one. Let me find it. I just find it.
Steve.
This is my 7th Scientology haiku. Goes, Scientology, a catch-22 indeed, as well as practice.
As well as practice?
Mm-hmm. It's indeed. Also, indeed. Practice is a deed. Catch-22, you're screwed either way.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah.
Wow.
Using wordplay is great, and that wordplay was awesome, Steve. You write it down.
He said write it down. Do you want me to put it back up so you can take a picture of it?
No, I can always go back and get it up.
Oh, I was going to say, because you can always take a picture on your phone.
Yeah, I can always go back on the replay and put it and type it up.
And then Abigail S. Reese, I'm so happy to be able to catch one of your lives and not just the ones you do with Aaron. What's your email address? I want to forward you an email I sent to him because he's a procrastinator. That we do know, Abigail. He means well, but then he loses track of time. Thank you for your super chat, by the way, Gal. My email is my name. It's Reese Quibell, Quibell, as in boy, ELL, @gmail.com. But thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah. I just Beckus was. I have a poem called "Mining" I wrote partially inspired by Marilyn Honig.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. I guess I can read that one.
Of course you can.
Mm-hmm. Here, let me pull it up, and then we'll.
And I saw Liz Ferris. I don't know if she's still in here, but she messaged me and said she would like to do a live as well, and I would love to do that. I don't know if she's still in here, Liz. I still owe Liz Gale one, and I feel bad. I need to email her. I feel like she thinks I blew her off. I'm sure she thinks that.
Well, she's pretty busy too, so yeah. So it's just I try to keep that in mind. Like I said, I have most people have more of a life than I do at the moment, and
I don't know that I would compare like that. I don't know. I feel that way all the time about me. Yeah. I'm like, other people are so busy, more busy than me. Nah, not really. We're just doing our thing.
So the last one here, it's called Mining. By the way, this one just recently got published in Westward Quarterly also. He goes, Mining, There's a lot in my brain I need to unwind. Threads of thought, multicolored yarn, leftover yarn in an overstuffed junk drawer filled with bits and pieces that might come in handy someday. Those pesky things that have a way of not quite coming around. But sometimes if I just pull on a thread here, tug on a thread there, weave them together, then someday might just unravel and reveal to me that there all along hidden was a gem.
Oh my gosh, I love that too because it does make me think of Marilyn. Totally.
Yeah, there. I did the last video I did on one of my poems was about that, and I talk about the process of writing it. But
That
yeah,
is cool.
mm,
Brian, I love listening to you read them. You do a very good job at that. You deliver it well. And it's just, I feel like I'm there. Like I picture everything and you just, it's your delivery is great.
no, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
I used to read a lot. I used to do a lot of poetry readings in my 20s. Uh, but yeah, I'm looking forward to doing the one hopefully next on the first, uh, and I'll tape it and I'll video it and put it on my channel.
I love that. I love
Mm-hmm.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like, oh, Steve said he sent it to you.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
And I think Liz Ferris probably isn't in here anymore. So I will
Yeah.
reach out to her. And then same with Liz Gale. I definitely want to chat with her
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. I look forward to seeing y'all together.
Yes. And
Hey.
Brian, thanks for always watching. I feel
Yeah.
this way about how I feel about all of you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I know you, I know all of you, but I'd never seen you before. I've never heard your
Mm-hmm.
voice. So it was good to put all that together. And I appreciate you following me and
Mm-hmm.
everybody's so supportive.
Well, if you want to, the book it's a real quick read.
Oh yeah.
It'll take you like 20 minutes to read it.
Oh
Well,
yeah, no, I'm
if you
gonna
want to
read it.
if you read it and want to go on and talk about it again, or if you got questions or whatever, I'll be
Totally.
more than happy to come on again with you because this has been
This won't be our
fun.
last time. Yeah, this won't be our last time, Brian. We click. I like you.
Yeah,
I
I
got
like you
your
too.
book on Friday and I
Mm-hmm.
went out of town Saturday. So I haven't
Mm-hmm.
had a chance to read it, but no, you're right. This is an easy. Some books are intimidating for me
Mm-hmm.
because I don't feel very like that's why I'm nervous to write my own book because I just
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like I have the smarts to back it up. Now that's just in my own head and I realize I need to unpack
What?
some of that, but
Yeah, and get yourself a good editor.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, what did Steve say down here? I updated it. Hold on. Slightly and now added a footnote after Epstein.
Cool.
He didn't kill himself either. Steve, Epstein is alive and well, and he's up right now laying by my pillow. Anyway,
Okay.
that's
Well,
great.
okay, so yeah, we're here. It's been real. It's been fun.
It's been a lot of fun. Thank you
Mhm.
for being on with me today. I really
Thank
enjoyed
you,
this. I really
thank you for
enjoyed it.
having me on.
Yeah, guys, get the
Go
book.
go on Amazon. It's to a good cause and stuff, and you know,
Yes.
hopefully it'll help.
Yes, I love it. Brian, it was really good to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
All right, we'll sign off, guys. See you
Yep.
in the future. See you soon.
Mhm.